It was the summer of 1987 when Lisa, her younger brother Josh, and their parents rented a secluded cabin in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains. The cabin sat on the edge of a dense forest, miles away from the nearest town. It was supposed to be a peaceful retreat, a chance to disconnect from the world. Instead, it became a nightmare they would never forget. The first night. The cabin was rustic but cozy. As the sun set, the family settled in, enjoying the crackling fire and the sound of crickets outside. But as night fell, Lisa began to feel uneasy. She couldn't shake the sensation of being watched. She dismissed it as nerves from being in an unfamiliar place and eventually went to bed. Around 2 a.m., she awoke to a strange sound, a faint tapping on the window. Her room was on the second floor, far too high for anyone to reach. Heart pounding, she sat up and stared at the window. There was nothing there. The tapping stopped, but just as she was about to lie back down, she heard it again. This time, it was followed by the sound of faint laughter, distant but unmistakable. The warning. The next morning, Lisa told her parents about the noises. Her dad shrugged it off, saying it was probably an animal. But later that day, while exploring the forest with Josh, they found something unsettling. A circle of stones arranged around a large, dead tree. Carved into the tree were strange symbols neither of them recognized. Josh joked that it was a witch's circle, but Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. The symbols seemed to pulse with a strange energy, and she had the overwhelming urge to leave. That night, the tapping returned. This time, it wasn't just at Lisa's window, it echoed around the house, moving from one window to the next. Her parents heard it too, but when her dad checked outside with a flashlight, there was nothing. The Watcher appears. On the third night, Lisa woke up again, this time to the sound of footsteps on the roof. She froze, barely breathing, as the steps moved slowly above her room. Then came a low, guttural growl, unlike anything she'd ever heard. Gathering her courage, she peeked out of the window. At first, she saw nothing but trees and darkness. Then she spotted it. A tall, shadowy figure standing at the edge of the forest. It was humanoid, but impossibly thin, with glowing, yellow eyes that seemed to pierce the night. It didn't move. It just stood there, staring at the cabin. When she told her family the next morning, her dad laughed nervously. "You're imagining things," he said. But Lisa could see the fear in his eyes. The final night. By the fourth night, everyone was on edge. They decided to sleep in the living room together. Around midnight, the tapping began again, louder and more insistent. Then came the laughter, now surrounding the cabin. Suddenly, the front door rattled violently, as though someone, or something, was trying to get in. Her dad grabbed a shotgun and shouted, "Who's there?" But there was no reply, only the sound of heavy breathing just outside. The lights flickered, and the air grew unbearably cold. Then, the windows fogged up, and a message appeared, written in the condensation. "Leave." Without hesitation, they packed their belongings and fled the cabin, driving through the night until they reached the nearest town. The aftermath. The family never returned to the cabin, and when they reported the incident to the rental company, they were met with silence. A month later, Lisa's mom tried to contact the company again, but their number was disconnected. When she looked up the property's address, she found no record of the cabin ever existing. To this day, Lisa can't explain what happened. But sometimes, late at night, she swears she can hear faint tapping on her bedroom window and distant laughter in the wind.